Hello, everybody. Again, it is silent in my room. That's okay, though. Give it a minute till 5 for people to get on here and find the video, and then we'll get into it. I should have thought of something to say before I started for this minute. Just, I guess, a couple of reminders I didn't put in the video or in the presentation today. Again, make sure you guys are sanitizing your trucks. We have that video on YouTube now for you guys to show you how to properly sanitize your vehicles. It's 5 o'clock now, so here we go. Today we're going to talk about, I have to click on the screen first, fire protection and extinguishers. So for fires, fire theory says you need 4 elements to start a fire. Those 4 elements are heat, oxygen, fuel, and a chain reaction between those things. Fire prevention stops a fire before it starts. Obviously, it prevents it from starting. So some proactive actions to prevent fires are knowing the hazards of chemicals you work with and therefore controlling for those hazards. Knowing where firefighting equipment is and cleaning up any spills immediately. This doesn't just go for, trucks that have an accidental spill out in locations. Shop, it is also you down in the shop or anywhere you're working as well. If there's a spill and you spill something, make sure you're getting it cleaned up promptly. So we take away that fire hazard, or slip hazard for that matter. Fire detection systems. These are your first line of defense against fires. They alert you of the presence of heat, smoke, and flames. Automatic sprinkler systems are one of the most dependable ways to fight fires. They detect the fire, sound an alarm, and then they spray water. I'm sure you've seen them before. They aren't necessarily designed to put out fires, but more so to keep the flames from spreading anywhere else and give people time to evacuate when there is a fire. Fire extinguishers. These are only useful in the first few seconds of a fire, which is why it's important for you to, 1, know where they're at, and number 2, have them for you drivers in your control areas, so if something does happen, you have the ability to put it out right away. Therefore, they should also be fully charged and inspected monthly. Make sure you're making sure they're good to go for the case you may need. You need to be trained on how to determine how severe a fire is, how to choose the correct extinguisher, and how to use it. So fire classes, the fire class must also match the fire extinguisher, and it's classified by the type of fuel. So type A, we have solid combustibles like paper, wood, and cloth. B is liquids and gases like hydrocarbon and alcohol-based, and natural gas and crude oil. C is electrical equipment, but once the electricity is eliminated from that source, it becomes a class A or a solid. D is flammable metals like magnesium, titanium, and potassium. And K is kitchen fires like grease, cooking oils, and fats. I was going to show you the fire extinguisher, and I didn't bring it over. Basically, the fire extinguisher will have these letters on it explaining what type of fire it's useful for. So if it has an A, B, and C, you can use that specific fire extinguisher for solids, liquids and gases, and electrical fires, but it wouldn't do anything against a flammable metal fire. Ways to eliminate different classes of fires. So if it's a Class A fire, it'll cool the materials and soak the fibers. Class B removes oxygen to help stop the chemical reaction. Class C uses extinguishing agents not capable of conducting electrical currents. If you use the wrong fire extinguisher for the wrong class, it can actually increase the fire. So you want to make sure you're matching those classes up. Class D, depending on what type of metal it is, they need different extinguishers, and you need training on for which one works for what. In Class K, you can use sodium bicarbonate, which is also called baking soda, or potassium bicarbonate. To put out fires, use the PASS method. They have a short use period of about 8 to 15 seconds. So you want to make sure you have it with you ready to go, like I've mentioned, having it in your control area. So to extinguish small fires, you pull the pin, you aim low at the base of the fire, you squeeze the lever to spray it, and then you sweep back and forth, moving closer to the fire. You always want to keep the extinguisher pointed at the base of the fire, even if it appears to be out, and you never want to turn your back to it, even if it does appear to be out, because it can ignite again. Fight or flee. You want to know when to fight a fire and when to evacuate the area. Only attempt to put a fire out if you can do it safely, that should say, with a portable fire extinguisher, and do not respond above your level of training. We don't have elevators really where we work, but in any case, don't use elevators when evacuating. Use the stairs and use the back of your hand to test door handles. That's mainly if you do burn it, you can still use your palms of your hands. Emergency escape routes. These are posted in each office in here in their door frame by their door. Your main responsibility during an emergency is self-rescue. It's your job to know the evacuation routes, how to report emergencies, and who to ask for more information. Preventing any injuries. Obviously, for fires, you want to wear your FRs. That's why they're a requirement. Use any gloves to handle materials, especially hot materials. Keep clothing and tools free of flammable materials. Therefore, also make sure your FRs are your outermost layer again. Use cotton and be aware of welding and cutting operations that can increase fire hazards. In the case you do get set on fire, don't run. It will be your natural instinct. Stop, drop, and roll is not your natural instinct. But you do want to stop, drop to the ground, cover your face, and roll until the flames are smothered. Therefore, I'm throwing in right here as well, our safety-focused phrase for today is stop, drop, and roll. That pretty much does it for fire extinguishers. Ops. Do you have any ops besides these?
I just want to make sure, we had someone put in the employee suggestion about some communication. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that Joelle has moved into her role full-time as the shop manager, and Kyle Hans has taken over all the drivers and water operations and is now Prairie's Wyoming operation manager. So those of you water drivers that, if you haven't heard yet, Kyle will be the ops manager on that side. If you get a chance, take some time, give him a call, let him know who you are and what you're all about. All I got.
Other ops notes, exemption certificates, again, make sure you all have these in your cab. If you don't, you need to get them in now. Get them from LaDonna, or I guess email her, she'll email you one. Yeah,
she emailed them out to all the company emails, and if you got an opportunity to print one, or if we can get one in your mailbox or something, I would carry one on you when you're just driving from home to work too. That we haven't come to the point where we need them yet, but we'd like you guys to all have them.
Intake, if you're having mechanical issues, again, you must call intake first. If the issue is going to delay your day, you have to call dispatch as well because your load may be time sensitive, so make sure you're communicating. Lockout, tag out, and unsafe vehicles. If you log into a truck that the previous driver marked unsafe, you cannot drive it until the issue is resolved. We're also starting a lockout tagout program. If you're caught driving a truck marked unsafe or with a lockout tagout on it, you will receive a corrective action.
Also with that intake, if you guys have issues with your truck, even if it's just a flat tire and you get it fixed right away when you start your shift, still put it on the DVIR so we can clear it out on the mechanical side. Our process is to put it in the DVIR and call intake, not just walk up to mechanic and say, hey, please fix my tire. We want to make that intake phone call. Right now with the social distancing we're doing to make the phone calls, the way to do it. Once we're back to normal, you can walk up to the intake window in the shop.
All right. That will do. I apologize I didn't pull up the YouTube to see if anyone had any questions online. I'll just double check that real quick.
It's not real quick.
No, it's not. It's not loading. Say something.
Something. It's working. I don't see any comments.
They're loading. It's the internet. Okay. Fred, are you checking your company email to make sure you have it in your company email first? Josh, the safety focus phrase is, y'all, stop posting the safety focus phrase in the comments. They gotta watch the video to get it. Good lord. Okay. Josh, watch the video. It's in the video. And communication intake phone needs to be answered. So you might want to comment on doing best efforts.
Yeah, so I had to call the intake phone today, and I got a phone call back 2 minutes later. I know it does get a lot of calls, but I definitely agree the intake phone does need to get answered.
All right, that does it for that. We will see you next week on here. Adios, thanks for joining us.